Good morning. I'm Tim, and it is 10:30 Friday on, or today Thursday. I think today's Thursday, 10/9/2014. Um, that's got to be Thursday. Okay. This is my thoughts, my ramblings, maybe a little bit of wisdom. My story. I need to put up a screen here so I can see something else besides myself. No, I'll put it up, took it right down again. Okay, there we go. Now you can relax and look at other stuff that I don't have to look at me. Um, I went on hospice, so I think it was the beginning of this week, and I've got a lot of good responses from it. I sent it out to some friends and family, and it's spread around a lot more than I ever thought it would. And I've been getting a lot of feedback on it, and everybody's sending love and energy. And I sit in my chair thinking about it, and you're sending me the love and the energy, and I'm sending it back to you. So we've kind of set up a grid around the world of healing, loving energy for one another. And the longer we can keep this grid going and more people we bring into it, the more powerful it will be. My wife is calling me for something. Just a minute. Hello? Hey, do you want me to pick up the drill and stuff for you? Or? No, not right now. I'm making a video. Okay. Love you. Bye. Okay. And that'll be in the video because I found that I'm not supposed to edit my videos because I'm liable to cut something out that might help somebody because I was embarrassed about it or thought it wouldn't work or nobody would listen. But back to the grid around the world. The longer we can keep that energy flowing, or just sending the love energy out to every living thing on the planet, any love you send out comes back to you and it's increased. So if we can keep ourselves in a loving, peaceful state of mind, we can conquer the world. The bullshit about Ebola, we started it. We have a patent on it. We're the ones who's spreading it. So see everybody healing and nothing going on in this country or around the world. See it just kind of going into nothingness. Off-world beings and the others that are on this earth are helping us work through this stuff. There's a lot of off-world people, extraterrestrials, ETs, whatever you want to call them, who are on this planet right now, and they're walking among us, and they come in as babies and small children so that they could grow up with us. And when they talk to people, not have it be from out there, it's from right here. There's somebody who grew up and lived here and knows the problems and things that are going on, but their hearts and minds are still connected to where they're originally from. Who knows? Our next life could be on another world. There's quite a few of them around. And I'm getting way off course as usual because that's part of my ramblings. I did some meditation, and I didn't know what this thing would be about. So I did some meditation, and they started giving me things, and I actually wrote them down or remembered them, and then Terry wrote them down for me so I can read them. My hands shake pretty bad sometimes. One was that you need many teachers. People with the last video I sent out were saying they wish they could be in that state or feel that way. And I've had many teachers. I've read many books. I started off looking into out-of-body experiences, and that led me to something else, and that led me to something else. And I've always been in had a thing of off-world beings and stuff. Always felt connected, and through the readings and things I've done, people I listened to on the radio and everything, I've managed to move around through different fields: spirituality, metaphysical, off-world beings, and you find it's all rolled into one. And I lost track of what that next statement was going to be. I've gotten this way from reading on a lot of different subjects, releasing what didn't seem to appeal to me or didn't feel right, and I've had many, many teachers. The ones that are well known I believe, are masters. The other teachers that I've had who are not so famous and not affecting so many people, they're like you and I. They're just passing something along. There was a guy that worked at the supermarket where I used to go to all the time, and he was a bagger. He's probably in his 40s. But he was so peaceful and so calm and gave out love to everybody. And when he packed your groceries, they were in right. Anything he thought of, he would tell you. And I imagine he's probably in his 40s, but mentally, I imagine he stopped around 8 to 10 years old. And a lot of people looked down their nose at him, but I thought, God, look at the teacher this man is. The spirit that would be willing to come in to a body. He had some problems. And a mind like that, but the soul being so out there to show past what the physical things are that we see. And he was a great teacher. To me, he was a master also. But let's see what else I've got written down. Oh, gratitude. You attract what you think about. And if you're constantly thinking about things that are negative and whatnot, that's what you'll attract to you, is all the negative. If you start looking at things positively, know the negatives there, don't deny it, but start looking at things that are positive and things that can help you in your life, and already start seeing that come in and how your life would be, and start thanking them for those things. Don't ask for them. See them, what your life would be like when you already have them, when you're working with those, and start thanking the guides, the spirits, God, whoever you'd like to, for having those in your life being this way. And you'd be surprised how quickly your life will switch in that direction. Release what you don't understand, turn it back over to God. Ask your guides and angels for clarity on things. I've already talked about the love energy. Oh, this is really one. I did hospice for about 12 years. And I was a visitor to patients. I have no professional training or anything, but I like to talk and like to listen to people. And when I first said I was thinking about doing hospice, Daniel Brinkley, he has written about 5 books. He's been dead 3 times the longest. I think it was 28.5 minutes. But he was on Art Bell Coast to Coast when it really used to be a good show. The guy that's on there now used to be with the government, so everything you get on there is watered down. Art's got a show on satellite TV, I believe. He was talking about starting another one. But on Art Bell used to have James Gillian, who has East City Ranch and works a lot with off-world beings and spiritual beings. But listen to the old Art Bell show one night. Daniel Brinkley was on there and was talking about being a hospice volunteer and his hospice group, CIA, which is Compassion in Action. I'd been listening to him for a while and thinking about it. And I was out in the desert, laying on top of my blazer, sleeping. I was doing gold prospecting. And there were some things going on in the club that I didn't agree with. And the members were getting lied to and having things taken away from them. And the dude who was supposed to be running the show is the one who was doing it. And I got really upset. And I started showing what he was doing and showing it to the other members. And laying there that night, I was thinking about how much energy I was putting into it. And the guys that I was trying to help and change things for really didn't give a damn. All they wanted to do was go out and play in the dirt and have some fun. As long as they got what they felt was fair, they didn't really care. So I knew I had to get into something else because I get too passionate about things. So I came back into the valley. And I think Daniel was on Art Bell that night or shortly after that. And he was talking about it again. So the next morning I get the Yellow Pages out. And I flip it open. And the first page I open to, there it is, we train hospice volunteers. So that's when I went to work for hospice. But I normally right now, I would forget what I was going to say. And right now they just told me in my head what I was supposed to continue about. A lot of my patients when I go and sit with them. They'd want to talk to me about what was happening and what they were going to go through, their fears and their worries. And most of them would tell me that they wanted to talk to their family about this, but their family would just say, no, 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 you're going to be here for another 5-10 years. Don't go talking like that. And it was a real concern they had. And they just wanted somebody to listen to what they had to say, to their fears. I had an advantage because I've studied people. I read an awful lot about near-death experiences. That's how I found out about Daniel Brinkley. James Gillian, he's written 3 books, East Ranch, and he said that when he drowned, he tried 3 times to get up, 3rd wave hit him, and he said, "Oh, would I give up?" And he said he said he didn't see his family and everybody standing around when he left his body. He went through a tunnel. He said he saw people and things around him as he went through the tunnel, but he went straight to this white light at the end. And he said when he got there, the energy was so beautiful. And I'm paraphrasing because it's been a while since I read his books. But when he got there, he said the energy and the love he felt was so fantastic. He asked, what do I need to do to earn the right to stay here? And he heard inside, you don't have to earn anything that is freely given. Well, what do I need to be able to stay here? Or what do I need to stay here so I don't have to go back? Or I think he said leave. But anyway, he asked what he needed to do to be there, to never go away. And what he heard was, I never tell my children when to come and go. That's free will. So he asked, the next one was, I want to go back and let people know what it's really like, because I've been lied to, and I want to go back and start telling people, what do I need to do? And he says he thought he was going to get this long list of, you need to do 3 Hail Marys. He went to a Catholic school, so he knew a little bit about the Catholic religion. And do this, do that, talk to Mary, find Bob. And this is the things he's thinking. And what he heard was, whatever brings you bliss. And boom, he was back in his body, up on the beach, and somebody was helping him. And it took a long time for him to come to terms and understand what he'd been through and connect. Now, his website is eastseti, I believe, .org. It might be .com, but I think it's .org. And you can go up to his ranch, and they have sighting parties, and go up there and watch the craft come in and go over. And if you go to his website, you can find his book and more information. Okay, let's stop rambling it back. But so they were an advantage. I tell them a couple stories from my experience with hospice patients, and one was Vincent. I felt an energy around me, and I talked to a psychic, and he told me that there was a tall, thin, elderly gentleman standing behind me saying thank you, and he walks the halls of hospice on the other side, continuing the work I do here. So when I was sitting with the patient, I would tell them the full story about Vincent and how he walks the halls of hospice, continuing the work that I do here to help the people, because I come from him. I was his visitor, and one day I noticed he was crying, and I held his hands and I asked him what was wrong, and he said he was afraid. And I told him, don't be afraid. You're going to the most beautiful place that you can ever imagine. And as soon as you leave the body, you're surrounded by love. And he started saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And he left shortly after that. But what he told what the first psychic told me in the afternoon, I had class that night with Frank Baranowski, and there was 2 psychics coming in from Missouri, and they gave me virtually the same message. So when I would sit with a hospice patient, I would start talking to him and tell him about Vincent. I'd tell him about another hospice patient, Ida, who came back to see me, and ask them if when they go, Vincent and all my friends will be there. I've already asked that. They're my hospice group on the other side. and I ask them to make sure that everybody has somebody. So they're around you now, and they'll be around you when you leave. And I know they'd be overjoyed if after you get squared away, you'd like to join and become part of my hospice group. And I don't think there was a one of them that didn't get a real pretty smile, and just, you can see the energy around them change. And if I did, well, most of them said I could pray for my patients, but I wasn't allowed to do Reiki or healing energy on them. And it's not, it not only, the energy not only heals the body, it heals the soul and the spirit, and allows a lot of people to release things that they didn't even realize was blocking. I've helped people at funerals, just putting my shoulders on and calling in the energy, and their guides, and they're able to calm down and release. One of them was the mother of the, well, it was her, one of her sons. She ended up losing two of her four sons, and the third one has some problems, but the energy she was able to release and understand it a little bit, and it gave her a calming effect. That's one of the main things it does, is have a calming effect. The last one I got is, oh, that was kind of, it was going in that direction. But back to being a hospice volunteer and seeing things that I have. People, I'm trying to put it the right way. A lot of times, I had a lady, a friend of mine's mother was in a care facility, and she was having strokes all the time. And I tried to be with her and help her as much as I could, but she needed a lot more help than I was able to provide. Well, I talked to some of the family. I was in the service with her son, and I talked to the family that was here, and they weren't sure about it. So we went in and talked to the director of the facility, and I told him I was a hospice volunteer, and I thought Anna should be on hospice because with what she's going through, she'd have extra help and things like that. And he was of the mentality of, no, as soon as I put people on hospice, they die. And so the family wouldn't allow it. And I couldn't take, I am too sensitive sometimes, and I couldn't take being around her, knowing what she was going through, and knowing that the family was refusing to help her. A lot of times, people don't do things for selfish reasons. I'm glad that I have Terry, and she understands. I asked her to put her father on hospice for a long time. From around Easter, I told her that we should start looking into it. Well, he fell and broke his arm here a couple weeks. I think it was the 15th of last month. I'm not sure. But anyway, when we were at the hospital, they said that you should look into putting him on hospice. So they released him. We took him back to where he's staying at, and we called hospice. They came out. His arm was broke. He didn't want surgery, and they said they wouldn't put it in a cast. So they put what they called a splint around it and sent him home. And when I saw what was around his arm, I wouldn't let a dog loose with that. And they'd sent him home once already and told him his arm wasn't broke. We took him back, and they x-rayed it again and said, oh, and the arm, the bone was like this. I talked to a lawyer, and I guess we don't have enough for a case because of his age. And he has ALS and a little bit of dementia. But hospice, we call it hospice. They came out, talked to him, evaluated him, talked to Terry and I, and they had him in a care facility that afternoon, had his arm in a splint and dressed. Had him on pain medication. Sometimes you feel more than you want to. and we're going to keep him there until they had his pain under control. This, I believe, was Monday or Tuesday, and they figured that he'd be there for about 4 or 5 days. I went up a few days later to see him. Terry went up to see him and said he was resting, he was sleeping. He looked good. The color in his hand had already changed. They had a real nice splint on him. So when we went and saw the doctor the following day and got the test results, that would have been the 29th. I told the doctor, I told Terry, it's time. I'm going to go in hospice. Because the way I've been declining, it's about 3 months, I lose 10 points. So after seeing what they did for her father, she was all for it. They came out. They've helped us immensely. And it's not a case of just because I have hospice, I'm going to drop over dead. Most of the people, they wait so long and don't do it because they're afraid. Get rid of your selfishness. Think of the person who is there, who needs to be on hospice, and do it. Don't go playing games and screwing around. You're not helping them. The only thing you're doing is hurting them, and you're unhappy, but you can't let go. Grow up. Get over it. It might be their time. You have to deal with it. You and the person that you want to put on hospice have already met, talked, and worked out why they were here. They came here for whatever reason to help you. And maybe the help that you need is to get over loss. And this is what their job is. And you're making them hang around more and feel guilty for not getting better. Get off of it. Take care of your family. And if they need to be on hospice, do it. Okay. I think I feel better now. Sometimes that's why I got into hospice rather than gold prospecting. Because we'd be in a meeting and it would hit me like that and I'd stand up and go off. And one guy I met out on one of the claims, he'd come in, or I pulled in, he was sitting there working, and I went down with talking to him and stuff. And he said he was new to prospecting. I said, yeah, I come to some of the meetings. We have outings and stuff. We'll teach you how to prospect and use dowsing rods. It's really informative, really good. He says, no, he says, I went to a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and the president was up there talking, and some dude jumped up in the audience. I thought they were going to go to fists real quick. So I decided I ain't going back there. I had to tell him, yeah, that was me. I get carried away sometimes. So he started going to meetings after that and turned out to be a hell of a good prospecting friend. Well, I guess I've been rambling on for a while. Remember, in the end, only kindness matters. Be nice to everyone. You don't know what kind of a day they're having. And smile. It might lighten up somebody's day, or it might just make somebody who's grumpy all the time to wonder what it's like to smile. And they look at your life and they might be amazed at what you're going through, and you're still smiling. It might help them. Oh, okay, one last thing I just remembered. I've been getting a lot of comments and things in my emails and on my Facebook, and my daughter's Facebook, and Sonny's Facebook. I've been getting a lot of comments back. And I would ask you if you could put them on YouTube under the video, because I've read some of them and they're so good. And it might be something little that you have to say that might help somebody else. So if we put them there, everybody can see them who looks at the video or even looks up the video. And that's what it's about, is sharing and healing others. No, because I didn't know I affected that many people that way. I made the video to help my family and friends, because when they found out I was on hospice, they thought I was in hospice and in a care facility and dying. And I wanted to get the word out that no, hospice is a service organization. They'll help you as much as they can. And if you want them to butt out, they will butt out. They don't harass you or try and make you do things, or you have to be on this medication. They ask you, you give them permission, and they help. So think of the ones who need it and could benefit from it. And if you got somebody you're thinking about or you think might benefit from it, I know it'll help and benefit both of you. So I guess I gotta go back to my normal screen, huh, so I can turn everything off. So I get to see me. And well, thank you everyone, and don't have any little words of wisdom other than smile. It makes people wonder. Thank you. Peace, love. Lights out.